Well, Hazel, thank you so much. I am going to make the assumption you can hear me.
We can hear you.
Fantastic. We have been having connectivity issues here throughout the day. There's some line work, ironically, going on. They're splicing IT lines out the park. I'm going to purposely stay off of video so you can hear me. And I think Hazel's got some images anyway that are certainly more important than you're looking at me. Anyway, again, thank you so much to all of you who have joined us these last several days for the North Coast and Cascades Science Days. To all of you who have attended, and I understand that we had as many as 400 folks nationwide, our partner organizations and agencies, our tribal partners, educational and nonprofit partners, and of course, our National Park Service staff, all of those who support and care for and about the parks. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us. You know, special places don't stay special by accident. It has and will always take a broad coalition of, if you will, missionaries, mercenaries, and misfits supporting our parks. And I say that with all due respect to protect and share these special places with this and future generations. The National Park Service mission is at its roots a promise to the American people. And it's a promise that we here all must keep. We wish to thank all of you presenters. Making sound management decisions requires sound science. And park management is a four-legged stool. The stool's legs are a superb staff, passionate partners, fiscal and material resources, and certainly not least, data. Robust data that addresses the resources and the fundamental values of these parks. You know, science informs and enables our ability to care for the parks and is integral to the National Park Service's role as an informed, responsible, and responsive steward of these special places. Just yesterday, as you were all meeting, I was able, with knowledge gained from both physical and social science data that was carefully collected and analyzed by Mount Rainier scientists, to share with brand new staff from the Secretary of Interior's office how timed entry reservations help reduce congestion, protect park resources, and enhance visitor experiences here at Mount Rainier. And we trust that your participation this week, as you talked about, learned about, discussed data, and the folks who are collecting that data, will leave you with an enhanced sense and awareness of the interconnectedness of these parks, their ecosystems, and the various areas of research, and the value of the stewardship of stewardship on a landscape scale. Also, the intersections too of the natural and cultural science in the parks and in the way we understand and share and interpret them. The stories of hope and active management for resilience and responsiveness to large-scale environmental change, rather, that we are observing here in the Pacific Northwest. And also the importance of community in science and stewardship, sharing and passing on knowledge as a form of stewardship. A final thought and a quick story. You know, we often think of national park rangers as the storytellers in our parks, but I'd like to have you think that scientists are certainly storytellers too, and filling the gaps in our knowledge and looking for patterns over time. Let me give you an example that still shapes my views today on the importance and relevance of what each of you who are doing science do for the parks. When I arrived at Yukon-Charlie Rivers National Preserve in Alaska, I learned very quickly that there had been a very long-term predator-prey study involving wolves. It wasn't long after my arrival that the state of Alaska began an aggressive predator control campaign outside of the preserve, but it wasn't long before several wolf packs and several collared wolves from wolf packs with home ranges within the preserve had been taken. And as we started to hear concerns, not only from biologists, but also from local users of that resource, of course, in Alaska, in the preserves, subsistence harvest and subsistence takes are allowed. We started looking harder at the number of wolves that were being taken outside of the preserve and realized that that was impacting the wolf populations with home ranges, again, within Yukon Charlie. As a matter of fact, we weren't quite sure how we were going to do it, but the mandate for managing preserves in Alaska managed for healthy populations. And the challenge was healthy populations had never really been defined. What we were able to do was to take the resource and the resource work and the data that had been collected over the years from that predator-prey study of wolves in the preserve and determine that the difference between the population numbers in the fall and the spring, greater in the fall after summer pup production, lesser in the spring after difficult, challenging winters, starvation, wolf-on-wolf predation, that sort of thing, that the difference between the fall and spring populations were such that we could look back and understand what was normal or expected, if you will. And then as we looked at the predator control years, we found that the number of wolves, the difference between those fall and spring populations were significantly higher. And as a result of that, we were able to take that data to our designated leaders in the region and were able to implement a modification to the wolf harvest seasons in order to help the wolf population to start to rebound back in the preserve. Just an example again of a study that potentially, or at the time rather, its impact and ability for us to manage the preserve better and more properly and to meet our mandate allowed for that perhaps those early day researchers had no idea as to how they would benefit, again, that the wolf population as well as our management decisions. We can all be a part of the process of telling our park stories from writing the next chapter of the science and the research that's taking place now and in the days time to come. So with that, I want to thank you all again. We so value your engagement, and we will thank you for being a part of. Be well, do good work, and take good care of yourselves and your network of colleagues. And we will see you on down the trail. Thank you.